What's up, y'all? I'm finally back out here on the range on this cloudy, cool morning. Temps are just right around the low mid 50s. We don't have any sun out here. As you can see, it was actually sprinkling when I got here. So hopefully this rain holds off. If it does, we don't have a lick of wind out here. So it should be a pretty decent day to get a few tests done. I've got some pretty interesting stuff on the agenda, and we're going to start things out with a little featherweight battle. So the jelly contraption is ready to go with a couple of chronos and 2 fresh blocks of gel. Now we are using the heavy clothing barrier up front as always. It's got the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we got for this one are a couple of big boy 25 ACP rounds from Hornady. We've got the Critical Defense versus the Hornady Custom. Now both of these are the same weight, 35 grain here, same ballistics, mostly the same ballistics, 900 feet per second at the muzzle. Now out to 50 and 100 is where things kind of open up a little bit. This Custom is showing higher averages out at 50 and 100, so it'll be interesting to see what they get here. Now that's listed from a 2-inch test barrel, which we have a little longer than that here today, so should get the performance that they're claiming from these. There you can see the cartridges, brass case with the different projectile in the front, both of them 35 grain, but obviously the Critical Defense has that FTX projectile with the insert, and then you've got just the plain XTP on the Customs. And what we're running them out of today is the little Beretta 21A with the 2.4-inch barrel. I picked this thing up not long ago because so many of y'all gave me a hard time about my little Lorsons and my Falcons and stuff, so I wanted to truly see if there was a difference. So I'll probably do a pass test and compare it with this against one of those little cheapies. But this ought to be pretty interesting. I'm really not expecting much from either one of these. Even if they get what they claim, I'm really doubting we get any kind of expansion. And even if they get that 900, that's 63 foot-pounds of energy. So we ain't talking about a whole lot here, but maybe they'll surprise us. Let's get all this stuff set up and see what they can do. All right, let's see what these little things can do, y'all. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each one of them, starting with the Critical Defense first. Now you will see multiple readings from this lab radar. The large number's right here at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one there is set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then the others are set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. Now, being 35 grain projectile, we may not see out to 50, but we should be okay. Now, again, longer barrel than what they're claiming. So, I mean, we ought to see what they're claiming, but y'all know how that can go sometimes. 931. This thing always, this thing always fools me when I go from double to single. It's got such a really short single. 984. 961. 930. And 915, so not too doggone bad for this little thing. Let's check out the average. All right, y'all, we had a 5-round average right there of 944 feet per second, so it did exceed what the box claimed, which it should have done because it's a longer barrel, so I'm glad to see that. Now, we had an extreme spread of 69 with a standard deviation of 27.7, so not the most consistent stuff in the world, but it is what it is. It's a little old tiny short barrel 25, so that really don't bother me if I was going to use a 25. 944, that gives me a little bit more hope that it's still got that insert in that FTX projectile, and y'all know that can be trouble sometimes, but let's get this stuff reset and see what the Custom does. All right, let's see if we get about the same from this Custom. I suspect we probably will get right around the same. 936. 982. This is almost a repeat. 937. 936 and 889. Had that last one drop on us for whatever reason, but it was pretty much a repeat. Besides that, let's check out the average. All right, y'all, sure enough, if it wasn't for that one low, it would have been pretty much the same across the board. We had a 5-round average on this of 936 feet per second. That low did open our spread up to 92 with a 32.7 standard deviation. So 936 here, and if you remember out that FTX, it was 944, so you talking about 8 FPS difference. Again, if it weren't for that one one low out of that custom, they would be virtually the same. Even right now, it's well within the extreme spread. So I would say these things are probably loaded exactly the same, all except the projectile. All that being said, this is still 25 ACP, tiny little openings on these projectiles. So I wouldn't be surprised to see absolutely no expansion from either one of these. But let's get this stuff reset and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's Witch 35 for your 25 jelly time. We'll put one of each into the gel, starting with the FTX first. If I'm guessing on this, it's going to be less than 12 and no kind of expansion. But hopefully I am surprised here. I'm not even sure what the point of impact is for this little thing, but about to find out. All right, that went right where I wanted it. Let me go see what I got. All right, y'all, I'm telling the future out here like Miss Cleo today. Just exactly what I expected. I figured this one's gonna do the same thing. But it'll be interesting if we do get something different here. All right, I don't think we got anything different. Let's go check it out. All right, let's check out what we got down here. Nothing to get excited about at all. So on the top, that's the critical defense with the FTX. Now you can see it comes in here and you've got more disruption because that one tumbled for sure. It tumbled at least once, maybe multiple times because it's sitting down here backwards. Definitely right under 12, maybe right at 12, maybe a little bit shy, but I can tell you there's absolutely zero expansion and the insert is still in there because I don't see it anywhere. And then jumping down there to the bottom below that, of course, that's the custom with the XTP. Now this one was on the lower side. This was like right under 900, like 880 something. So little on the lower side. That being said, there's no way you were going to get any expansion. You would have got pretty much the same thing. You can see it comes in straight. This one doesn't tumble at all. And you can see the difference between tumbling and no tumbling. This is just a tiny little pencil line all the way through this block. Now, I guess that's one plus of it not tumbling. You got more distance. Went into the second block, probably about 2 inches, facing forward, and absolutely no expansion. Now, I'm sure some people are questioning, would it behave the same at the higher or mid 900 like this one right here was? I think so. I think it would either tumble or still do the same thing. I really don't think you're going to get any expansion out of these little rounds. But let's see how far they went. The one up top, the FTX, yeah, it's short. That's actually a little shorter than I thought. It's at 10.5 inches, so definitely short. Now, let me preface all of this with saying, I mean, this is really weak stuff, but if you were to manage to get enough of these in the right place and manage to get them to the right spot, you know, they may end up doing the job, but you're going to have to be very deliberate with where you're putting these. The custom down there on the bottom, that one actually went out to 17.5 inches. So you got nice penetration on that one, but you didn't get any expansion from an expanding round. And then here's your close-up look at them. Really nothing much to see here. The difference is just the tumbling. That's the only difference, as you can see between them. There's your FTX. You can see sitting backwards, no expansion. If we drop on back down to the custom, there you can see that XTP facing forward with no expansion. Pretty much the same story from the top. You can see you definitely got more disruption in the gel, but that's just because that tumbling. Again, absolutely no expansion there. Keep on going, no expansion there. All right, let's check out these projectiles here. Basically what we got here is one came pre-clogged and one clogged. You can see there, which kept, I don't even think that kept them from doing anything. I just think these things are just way too weak to actually give you any kind of performance as far as expansion. And you know, I can't give Hornady too hard of a time about it because it's just a 25 ACP. That's just the nature of this round. I think really they just need to quit making any kind of so-called expanding rounds because they just don't expand. But anyway, here's your FTX now with the insert. You can see, I don't know if I can get you close enough, but you can actually see this one did give you a little bit of flaring there. You can see, so I mean, it did a little something. This one here plugged up with denim. That's all that happened here. And it's just packed in there too. I mean, it's all packed in there, but you can see there, no kind of attempted expansion from that one right there. So let's weigh them up and see what that looks like. They both started at 35. This one right here is at 35.6, so absolutely nothing lost there. And then your custom here is at 35.4, so nothing lost from either one of those. And then obviously the only size we can get is a base diameter and then a length. So you got a diameter here of 250 with a length of 380, and then on your custom here you got 251 with a length of 330. So that one's just a little shorter right there. I notice it's a little fatter, so just a different shape projectile, and you don't have that insert in the end. But there you go, y'all, the Hornady Critical Defense and Custom in 25 ACP. I mean, as far as which one of these I would pick if you had to choose from one of these two, I think my answer would be it really doesn't even matter. Does it really even matter? You're getting virtually the same performance from both of these. I think as far as tumbling or not tumbling, that's probably just luck of the draw. It's same thing with how far it goes here. I personally ain't carrying 25 ACP anyway. I know there may be some people out there who do for whatever reason, and you know, if they feel like it's a valid reason, more power to you, but you just got to take a look at what you got here. Incredibly low energy, and you're not getting anything as far as what they're telling you with the marketing with any of these rounds, not just Hornady, but any of them. So just keep that in mind. If I were to carry a 25 ACP, it would just be some spiciest hard cast that I could possibly find. All right, y'all, I'm gonna call it right there for a pretty underwhelming test to start today. I was actually hoping to see some kind of expansion or something out of these rounds, but I pretty much knew what we were going to get, and we got exactly that. Again, I keep saying it, it's 25 ACP. I don't think I've tested any 25 ACP expanding rounds that have given us any kind of expansion from these short little barrels. Again, if you are carrying a 25 ACP for protection, EDC, whatever, you are going to want to be incredibly deliberate and purposeful about where you put these rounds. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments. I know I do have some 25 ACP fans out there, so let me know what you think about the performance here. If you had to pick one of these, which would you pick, or would it even matter to you? I want to give another quick mention about these new Axle GS Extreme 3.0 Ear Pro. These things are absolutely fantastic, y'all. I cannot say enough good about these things. They're every bit as good and a little fancier than the 2.0 version. So check those out down below in the video description if you're interested. I've got tons more really good stuff on the way, so make sure you stay on the lookout. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.